Hey everyone, welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor players how to play the game by criticizing current players, and we'll have a lot of criticism to throw tonight, at least I will. I'm your host, Ryan Stacy, and today we are talking about Season 49, Episode 2, which is just titled Cinema. I have my two wonderful co-hosts with me, Derek Kubicek and Josh Wessler. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing good. Doing good. You know, just sitting around with all my possessions in boxes as I'm about to move tomorrow. So good times. At least I have Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think tonight's episode confirmed what we all felt last week. This season is just a cast of cartoon characters, mostly.
What a bunch of Fruit Loops. Here's a slight tease. I had the darndest time trying to pick a best player of the episode. I don't feel strongly about it. I shrugged as I wrote it.
Interesting.
And I'm very open to either of your arguments for whatever you have tonight, because I was just like, man, there's like minimal good play. Like there's some baseline good play, and then it's just disaster after disaster, and it's hilarious. I love the episode. Cinema, yes, kind of. Not that it was cinematic, it was just hilarious, inept gameplay, and it was very funny.
And the fact that Ryan used the word darndest to describe the time that he had is honestly a fitting word, or it's a word befitting this cast, because this cast, everything that they're going to have to overcome in the future, and everything they've overcome thus far, is very much God giving his silliest battles to his goofiest battles to his silliest geese. And season 40,
Which we should fight.
which we should always fight. In case people are new, Josh, last season in 48, boldly proclaimed that the biggest animal he could fight was a goose, not because he thinks that there isn't a bigger animal, but because he's always wanted to fight a goose.
Josh hates geese.
He hates them.
And that's fine.
They hate you too. But yeah, these are the silliest geese of the Survivor casting pool. I'm convinced more and more that they're like, all right, let's just get to 50. Call all of the alternates. Which alternates? All of the alternates.
Yeah, like I think 4 of these people are confirmed to have been an alternate. 2 of them for this season, 2 of them were alternates in a past season. So a bunch of alternates. Bring the alts in. Yeah, this is a goofy episode. And I would have said something other than darndest, but it's a family-friendly podcast.
Either way, I am excited to get into the spoiler section here and talk about what was a really silly time.
All right. Well, should we get into the episode proper, gentlemen?
I'm ready.
All right. Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Annie went home tonight. Shocker among shockers. But I will say the episode did a really good job of hiding the fact that it was going to be such a straightforward vote. There was a lot of intrigue here. But yeah, I think it was pretty straightforward in the end.
It was pretty straightforward, and it was it's interesting because I don't remember if you guys did, but I predicted that if this tribe went, that Annie would be going home. Spoiler alert. We have already lost some people in the Survivor pool for our listener pools.
No way.
So stay tuned for more on that.
Oh, that's exciting. Wow, that is unfortunate. Thanks for playing, folks.
Well, and on that note, I know we'll talk about it later, but wowza, I could not believe that we had actually dozens of comments on our little podcast. Thanks, guys.
I enjoyed that Derek was called pretentious in one of the comments. And then I enjoyed that Derek threw me under the bus and said, like, you're calling me pretentious? Look at Ryan. And so I felt like I needed to respond to Derek's comment. And I'm like, pretentious is like, you're pretending to know more than you actually know and kind of acting like you know more. But I can't be pretentious because I know everything about Survivor. So it doesn't make sense, Derek.
And it would be so fitting that Ryan would misdefine the word pretentious in pretending that he knows everything. But that's me being pretentious by defining that. Point being, we love you guys, and thank you for the comments. Really, truly, it was a great time and wonderful to see all of that. So thank you. But Josh looks like he's itching to say something.
I had a great time just reading everything, mostly because some stuff that was complimenting Derek or Ryan, or very occasionally myself, but I also enjoyed people who are either Ryan haters or Derek haters.
It's fine.
Always a good time for me.
I noticed there was absolutely no Josh hate in the comments. There was only Josh love.
I like to just ride the middle.
I believe
no one really loves me, but also no one hates me.
One comment, thank God for Josh, and the other one, I think I could get along with Josh.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks for commenting. We appreciate it.
But anyway, so Annie's gone.
Yep.
That was, I think, who all of us had leaving on this tribe next. There was a chance that Like something could have flipped. Obviously, they decided, oh, Annie is going to end up being more of a liability to all of our games long term, particularly Alex. But we'll talk about later whether or not we felt this was the right move.
I have thoughts that I have not fully unscrambled yet, because boy, oh boy, what a tribal council.
Ryan, we're here to help you.
Yes, I'm gonna. You know what? I can admit it when I don't know something. This is something I'm not sure of. Maybe I'll figure it out over the course of the podcast. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Should we dive into this episode?
Let's dive in.
All right. So back on Kayleigh, Annie's going to pitch to the others. She wants to get rid of Jake next. And Jake is the biggest guy on the season. Just because, he'll win everything once we get to the merge. No, he won't. No one ever has. No, he won't. First of all. I mean, you got to make a pitch if you're Annie. So whatever.
It's a pitch, but maybe there might be a better way around this. Like she's confident that she has a close relationship with Alex. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough just to buy yourself 3 days, and maybe you can get the vote turned on someone like Jeremiah instead. But she's gonna go to, I think, every single person individually on this tribe and essentially pitch Jake's name. I think maybe everyone except for Sophie.
No, she went to Sophie too.
Yeah, she did.
Oh yeah, smart job. And she's going to call herself a puppet master, which usually if someone calls themselves a puppet master, they're not the puppet master.
Usually,
especially on day 3
yes.
or whatever we're on.
Day 4 or 5, whatever this is. So I think what I'm looking for tonight because Kayleigh's going to go to tribal council, like we mentioned. And I'm of the opinion, this is kind of a Matt Singh situation, because this tribe, with over all the challenges, even like the head-to-head ones that we've had, 0 and 5 by the end of the night. So if I'm on this tribe, I'm looking like, okay, let's say we lose everything, because that's where it's headed. Who are the top 2? Who are the Malcolm and Denise? Who are the 2 people who can survive this thing? Maybe we'll get a tribe swap after like episode 3, which we've done. We might not. So if I'm these people, I want to know who the top 2, the tightest 2 are. I want to be in that group, and if I'm not in that group, I want to take one of them out. That should be the goal at this point. Physical challenge, strength aside. So that's what I'm looking for in our recap here, is like, who are the 2? Because I'm not sure, and I don't know if the tribe knows.
Oh, I think they do, because we get it over and over and over again. It's Sophie and Jake. It seems like it's just constantly mentioned.
And I disagree. I think Jake and Alex, it's Jake and Alex. Jake is willing to have it be Sophie. Sophie is willing to have it be Jake or Jeremiah, but Jeremiah is truly her like number 2, but Alex is closest with the one she's most comfortable with. It's a scramble. But I do think if we have to pick 2 main characters, it's Jake, Alex, and Sophie, and I don't know what to do with that information.
Derek is 100%
the thing with that
correct.
Is that we had Alex say in confessional, like, I know that those 2 are close, so I need to consider my other options.
And Sophie said the same thing about Alex. It is a top 3. Jake is 1. And I don't think Jake has a decision. He's going to tell us they're 1A and 1B. My number 1 is both of them. So I don't know if the tribe knows. Sophie is scared of Alex. Alex scared of Sophie. Justified. Jake is one of the 2, 100%. Mm-hmm. But I don't think any of them know who the second one is. Because every argument you're going to make, Josh, I can make the same argument for the other person.
I'm just saying, I feel like I got more confirmation from Alex about being concerned than we did from Sophie.
And I say it's equal.
And Josh, I respect your gut on this, because I think my gut is leaning ever so slightly the direction you're talking about, but when I try and logic my way through it with the confessionals we've seen, I actually just end up with, again, more confusion and more webs. So like, I'm just trying to follow my instincts here.
Last episode, yes, there was a lot of confusion, but I feel like that did not carry over as much to this episode as we've been here for a couple more days.
Did we watch the same episode?
I'm just saying. It was a lot more up in the air last week.
For every conversation they had, Alex and Jake still did a synced up handstand in the waters of Fiji. Nobody, them 2, synchronized swimming. I mean, you have to wonder.
Over on Uli, Nate kind of talks just about not being able to fit in, and we're going to get a super cut of all the Gen Z slang that the tribe uses. Some of which I've heard of, some of which I haven't heard of, so I don't know what that's about me. But Nate is still going to work hard to fit in. He's going to do his best to adapt, and he ends up getting into a majority alliance. It's going to be him, Rizzo, Shannon, and Savannah. So that is our top 4, with Sage and Jawan on the outs. Sage, I get. People like her, but she's a Looney Tune. Jawan, people are more sketched out about because it feels like he was looking for idols. So that's where we're at on this tribe.
And it seemed like they're kind of just looking for reasons to have people on the outside. It's like, hey, we got a nice foursome. these people are either sketchy or annoying. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. It seemed like it was just four people who like we can work together. This works. Nothing against these other two people. They just aren't sitting here on these logs right now with the group of four. So great job specifically to Nate for being able to get himself into the situation. I thought he had a chance of being the lone man out just because of his age, but it seems like he's got a shot.
Yeah, and that's why we always say don't go off on your own. Stay with the core group. Wherever the majority of the people in your tribe are, be there.
And another piece of advice that we've given throughout the years on the podcast is if you're older, you can't act older. Nope. If you're younger, you can't act younger. Nate and we had John Lovett talk about this a little bit, on his season, and it ended up not working out there. But we see Nate saying, "I've had to say vibe more than I've ever wanted to say vibe in my life." But you know what, Nate? That's the vibe. Congratulations, you caught the vibe. That is what you do.
And you just gotta fake it till you make it. You can start saying this stuff ironically. Like, for example, I started dabbing at work ironically, just because a couple of us were joking around how we were dabbing on each other or whatever. And now I do it in all seriousness. I caught the dab bug, and I still do it, even though that one kind of died off. But if you fake it, eventually it will catch on. It'll become a little more natural.
Every once in a while, you just have to say that's fire, bro.
Yeah, that one I wasn't super familiar with. Like, I guess I've heard it. Calling something cinema, that's odd.
I hate that one.
I've never heard of that one.
I've heard of that one, and that one, like, out of all of them, I don't really care about, fire or vibe or, whatever. Cinema, no. No, because the only reason that exists is because people started with, like, saying that something was like a movie, and then someone was just really unoriginal and turned it into cinema.
Okay.
So I'm very highly familiar with Immaculate Vibes, cinema, and I think particularly if people say that is cinema, you have like a period between the syllables there.
Yeah, but only if like it's an actual movie. Have I ever heard that one? Like they're just talking about real life?
It feels co-opted from the film community into widespread. So I've seen it, I've heard it. And fire, to me, fire's on the way out, so I'm surprised to hear it as much as we've heard it. But again, I'm 32 and maybe way out of this.
And we live in North Dakota, basically.
I'm here for all of it. I actually want Rizgod to have more confessionals now. I crossed the desert with Rizgod. I want everything. I want him to be the season's narrator.
Oh, no.
Absolutely not. I'm certified Rizgod hater, and it's okay. Like, I know people disagree with me. The comment section, let me know. It's fine. People can have their opinions. That is mine.
Penner who? I mean, my ass.
Oh, my God. I'm... Derek... Derek?
No, I've never hit you before.
You're tempting me. Okay, so over on Hina, we're going to get Steven, Matt, and Christina talking. They want to make an alliance. They want to bring an MC. They want to be the four. And so Matt brings MC in and it's like, hey, we got this alliance. We want you to be part of it. And MC is going to be like, hey, if someone offers an alliance to me, it's the Ghostbusters rule. You say yes. That's great. But she's nervous that she's fourth in this alliance. That's fair. She was the last one brought in. She likes Steven, does not trust Matt. So she is going to go talk to Sophie S. because the majority four talked about maybe taking Sophie S. out first. And MC's going to tell Sophie S. that, like, hey, this group was here talking and they want you out. I don't know how I feel about that for MC. Like, that could blow up in your face pretty easily if Sophie S. could get desperate and throw you under the bus. So I don't know if I love that. It's tricky. So what do you guys think?
I ended up with a stronger opinion on this than I thought I was going to end up. And it's not necessarily a bad thing on MC. I think it's okay this early on to like put out a couple trust feelers like, hey, they're throwing your name out there. We need to figure out something else. You have to be careful. Because like Ryan said, it can blow up in your face if you do this. But what I'm watching is how Sophie S. reacts. And she reacts pretty angrily, like frustration. And I think it boiled over too quickly. I don't think someone like Suri would act like that if she found out she was getting targeted. I think that this is Sophie S. realizing, oh, I'm not in very good with these people and I'm being now singled out. That to me is enough evidence that MC, you shouldn't have gone and talked to her. Okay. Now, MC does not know that, so it's hard for me to say, like, MC, you should have been different. But as a viewer, I think she made the wrong choice.
Because that was in the confessional.
Correct.
Yeah.
So just me watching Sophie S.'s body language in the confessional, she's concerned. She's panicking about this. And she should be, but it might be too late. So I think it was a mistake from the viewer's perspective, but from MC's point of view, I'm not too worried about it.
These are very nuanced because it happens all the time, probably every season, where you have a group of 4, but someone's always going to be 4. So I think the thing that I look for the most is something that Matt exactly said is, hey, we're looking for a 4th. Great. I would love to be in the majority because I don't want to get voted out early on Survivor. And worst case scenario, I can adapt later and ditch you guys if needed. However, I would prefer to be, at the core part of a majority alliance. So it comes down to whether or not she thinks that she's going to be able to pull one of those 3 people and flip it on the other 2. So if she thinks that she can go to Sophie and Christina and pull in, she said she trusts Steve, or at least gets good vibes from Steven, maybe that can be the 4. So you just have to be able to read that and know which way you're going to go.
Exactly. It depends on your tribe makeup, and that is something, we don't always get a clear view of when we're not on the island.
Josh, as you were talking, I was thinking about like a Newton's cradle. Like, here's the 4, but here comes these other 2. Boom! Knock those 2 out.
Could be.
Or knock 1 out, whatever you want to do. So the Newton's cradle strategy, I like it.
Back on Kaylee, Jeremiah and Sophie B can't stand Annie because she's still very bossy. So they're going to tell Jake that Annie wants him out. He's the target. And Jake's so annoyed that he hides Annie's shoe. It gets found later, and everybody's like, what's going on with the shoes?
Side note, but 100% of the shoes that have been hidden, those people have gone home.
Yep.
So mark
watch
for
out.
death. Mark for death.
Now, Jake needs to hide his next, probably, but that could also mark him for death. So over on Uli, everyone likes Sage. She's a kook, but she's funny. So Jawan is kind of the target for this tribe because he's idol hunting. He takes his bag out to collect firewood and maybe hide an idol, but he accidentally grabs Savannah's bag instead of his own. Savannah thinks it was intentional. Jawan tells us it was an accident, but it's just like, oof. Whoops.
Can I just say, when did these bags get massive?
They're huge.
These things are huge. I feel like they were never this large. Now it seems like they're just like, oh, we're going to be going on like a month-long camping trip, so we need a giant bag.
I wonder if it's going to come into play somehow with like an advantage later. Like, hey, take something off these huge bags. I don't know. It just feels like something is going to happen with these.
So to get a little meta for a second, I did listen to episode 1 of the On Fire podcast with Jeff this week. Jeremy Collins is the guest. And one of the things that got brought up was wardrobe. And they've talked about it before, but you submit clothes to wardrobe to be approved and of different colors. And Jeff reminded us, the whole idea is that this is, a shipwreck or some kind, a marooning. So you end up out in the wilderness with the clothes on your back that relate to who you are as a person. I'm like, where did the bags come from, Jeff?
Hey, they could have floated ashore.
Why does everybody have matching bags big enough to pack a tree trunk?
A crate full of bags floated on shore. And now we have bags.
Yeah.
Something happened similar on the show Lost. A crate full of boomerangs floated ashore. And so they had a bunch of boomerangs.
You know what? Roll That's for weirder. Do a luck check, I guess. But it was a meta thing that I was laughing at when I was like, wait, so they all have giant identical bags like this?
But we've been doing this. I mean, they've gotten bigger, but we've been doing this for a while, since at least 43. But anyway, we're going to Mystery Adventure Island time. Matt and MC both want to go from Hina. They play rock, paper, scissors. Matt wins. Again, generally don't like volunteering for this. It just puts a target on your back. Unless you're in a bad situation, you shouldn't do it. Jake's going to volunteer. Again, he shouldn't. Jawan, he volunteers. I'm fine with this. I don't know if he knows how bad of a spot he's in, but he is in the worst spot on his tribe. So Jawan, yes, absolutely.
He seems like he's more so just that type of player, if he is being noticed as going off and looking for advantages. He seems like he's a little bit more of an aggressive play style where he's going to go out and be a little bit more active versus sitting back on the beach and building those relationships. It makes complete sense that he wants to go out and try to get an advantage, whatever that might look like, risk his vote potentially at Mystery Adventure Island.
He made a good move for the wrong reason, it feels like.
Well, remember, if going to Mystery Adventure Island is a good move for you, you've already messed up.
Yep.
And what's hard for me is I want to ding the majority alliance of 4, Savannah et al., right? Nate, Rizzo, and Shannon. I want to ding them for letting Juwan go, but they also don't have tested battle lines yet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's best for them to stay back and just chance it.
And they can always get rid of Sage instead.
Exactly. They have another option. So just wanted to talk about whether or not you guys agreed that it's okay for the majority 4 to let him go.
Yeah.
At this point.
You don't want the target on your back. If one of your allies goes, okay. But yeah, you don't want to be the one to go.
And you don't want it to make it seem like you're preventing him as well. So if no one volunteers, but then Juwan does, and you're like, you know what? I do too. You know, that might spook him and get him on edge.
Yeah, I think if you have an alliance of 4, though, and you're comfortable with it, maybe after battle lines have been drawn, you need to talk about the chances of a Mystery Adventure Island. What do you do if there is a plan A? But that's dangerous because making plans early is also
I
bad.
actually don't like that, because if you're the one that brings that up, I think everyone sees you as like someone who's really thinking about the game.
And that's why I say, like, only maybe if battle lines are tested. Them definitely not.
Yeah, I don't
You're
think
gonna get
ever.
yourself a Michaela Bradshaw.
Yeah.
She's thinking.
Or Sierra right out of the game.
Yep. Any reason to get you out? Yeah, I say no. Sometimes you have to improvise.
Michaela turns seashells into abacus. Jay, whoa.
So the challenge is it's a head-to-head. Winner gets some sort of advantage. Losers go back to camp and keep their vote. Juwan is going to end up winning, so he can either take Matt or Jake's vote, one of the losers. It'll be an extra vote for him. They lose a vote for their next tribal council. Or he can take the tribe disadvantage, and he can play it on another tribe at immunity. Better chance of them winning immunity. And Juwan is going to make a terrible move and pick the tribe disadvantage. He 100% should have taken the extra vote.
Oh, dude, I disagree.
No, horrible decision.
I guess it does depend on whether or not they know that you have the decision, but I tried to, make as few enemies as possible. And if someone knows that you chose them, that individual person, it's going to feel like a targeted attack and you're going to have an enemy because you stole their vote. I would be more interested in avoiding tribal council and being, that's like immunity. You're guaranteed not to go home if you don't go to tribal, and you don't know how powerful the disadvantage is, but you can give yourself a better chance of not going to tribal. I like that. Let alone, gaining favor with your own tribe mates.
Dude, he made a whole tribe of enemies.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job, though, at explaining it.
I don't know how, but I somehow disagree with, like, both of you as we progress through this decision. I thought Juwan made the right choice in picking the tribe disadvantage and assigning it because, like, his tribe knows he had a choice, but the other tribe does not know that he has a choice. So he might have just been given the tile. Yeah, that information might get out there, but by the time it gets out there, it's hopefully water under the bridge. And if it's not, they're bad players. So I'm not concerned about it. I think he made the right choice right now.
So the tribe disadvantage might help you for one episode. Might. Not a guarantee. It didn't work. I mean, like, they still want immunity, but it didn't work at all. The extra vote, yeah, and it's a vote steal. Yeah, it might not work. There's lots of situations where an extra vote or a steal vote won't help you at all. But it lasts longer. There are more opportunities to use it. The tribe disadvantage is a one episode, one time use. The extra vote, I don't know how long it's good for, but let's say Final 7, for example. That is a long time. And yeah, you have to make it, and there might not be an opportunity for it to save you, but it might. It's just more longevity. You only make one enemy at most instead of a whole tribe's worth. So I think this is a terrible move for Juwan on every level.
I think you only make an entire tribe of enemies if you do a bad job explaining it, which I think that he could have done a little bit better job. Ryan, we talk all the time, and you especially talk all the time about, hey, I got an advantage, and if people are going to know about it, burn it right away. So I don't think you can really bring up, oh, you could have it all the way at Final 7. We would be preaching very soon to be burning that advantage.
Right, but you can find a way.
I don't think that that's a good reasoning.
No, you could find a way for no one to know about it. You just got to be good.
But he's not good.
Hey, to be fair, we don't really know how good he would be in that situation. We haven't seen it.
All I know is that he's the odd man out on his tribe. And if you're the odd man out on your tribe, stealing one vote isn't going to help you. But what might help you is getting your tribe through this tribal and trying to get to a tribe swap to change things.
Here's an example, a great example. Okay, they lose. Maybe they split the vote between Juwan and Sage, or the two on the out. Boom, 3-2-2. You just changed the game.
You're assuming that Juwan would be able to pull in Sage.
Maybe. We don't know enough. But it is just so much more there's so much more versatility in the extra vote than a tribe disadvantage. You guys are dead dog wrong on this one. Hilariously wrong.
The one point I'll give you in your favor is that they left the challenge and they didn't know what he was going to get. They didn't know if he was going to be if he was going to have a choice between two different options. So if you're talking about, what he would be able to do with it, then he would be able to get away with it a lot easier. They don't know that they're targeting someone. His tribe mates don't know that he would be able to lie super easily because the other people have nothing to corroborate against this. So I think that he would be able to get away with stashing this steal a vote as long as he wanted to, if he wanted to.
And by the way, the other reason that I like that he took this one, the other two went back to their tribes and said, yeah, Juwan got something. Everyone now knows exactly what he got. So, bam, no more target about Juwan ever having this secret thing that he got from Mystery Adventure Island. Like, yeah, okay, it was a tribe disadvantage. Boom, slate's wiped clean. He had to use it on someone. He used it on the tribe that has fire and hasn't lost anything yet. Like, if you're going to be mad at him for that, like, whatever, be salty. But I think he made the right move.
Guys, I think we have to talk about your drinking problems.
Water.
That looks like vodka to me.
Vodka.
With the stuff you're saying, like you gotta watch that. Gotta check that.
So final verdict. I did ask on social media. I tossed a poll out there on what people would choose, and 54% of people said that they would choose steal a vote.
Oh, Ryan agrees with social media. Good for him.
What? No. Social media agrees with me. Distinct difference.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna see Matt is gonna tell the complete truth when he gets back to camp. We don't see anything from Jake about it besides that he lost. Juwan is going to tell them 100% the truth, that everything that happened, then he can show them the receipts because he's got the tribe disadvantage thing. So yeah, there's that. But again, I don't think it really buys him any goodwill with his tribe. No one owes you anything in Survivor, so that's another thing. If he kind of thinks that this might buy him some goodwill, and no, that's not a thing.
Savannah said it does.
No, she said if they use this and win, it buys them a few more days because they won. That's a difference.
What's the most valuable resource in Survivor? Is it time?
Yeah, time is probably the most valuable resource. And yeah, you could do a lot with a few days, but the extra votes to whatever is definitely better.
I toss it to our educated listeners.
They already voted.
No, our educated listeners for our response here. Question of the day from Derek. Tribe disadvantage or steal a vote? So if you haven't thought about your Survivor pools already, do the Survivor pools. And which one would you pick if you're Juwan? Specifically, like if you're Juwan and you kind of know your place in the tribe, or if you don't, you can.
He doesn't know his place in the tribe.
You can interpret that however you want. Just what do you pick and why?
Be smart, listeners. I know you could do better than Derek and Josh. I believe in you. Alex is going to find the Beware advantage walking around with Jake, and Alex takes it. No. Do not take the Beware advantage. It's all bad. Don't touch it unless you were so desperate, Annie could take it. And it'd be fine. It probably wouldn't go well for her, but you're desperate. Maybe Juwan takes it. Someone who's in a bad position. All right, fine. What do you have to lose? Alex should not touch this thing with a 10-foot pole.
You know what?
I don't know.
I disagree. I think that this is the only tribe where someone can take it, because if it's Annie, yeah, she needs to take it no matter what. And if it's not Annie, well, she's one vote. You can lose your vote and Annie still wickedly goes home. And especially because he found it with another person, so it's not a secret. Okay, so you're going to end up with an idol that maybe you have to burn or you can use as a tribe idol if by some miracle they can stick together as a foursome and make any kind of distance in this game. I'm not upset with Alex taking this one. It was weird. I assessed my feelings when this came out because it goes counter to some things we've talked about in the past, but with Annie being the so obvious number 5 of 5, I'm okay with it.
I want to say that this is an outlier. This is absolutely an outlier situation, and that's just because I think that you can use your very close ally / allies to kind of just assist you in this process, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, and it's a train wreck. We'll get more into it when we get there, but it is a gosh darn train wreck for this tribe, and we'll get into why once we get to it. Basically, for now, Alex loses his vote. He can get it back if he finds the hidden immunity idol, but he won't get the clue to the idol and be able to get it until after they lose immunity. So we'll come back to this. Immunity challenge. Juwan is going to play his tribe disadvantage on Kina. Smart move. They they've won everything. Kaylee's lost everything. That's fine. If you're going to... Let's say he didn't have a choice, and it's like, here's a tribe disadvantage. Yeah, okay, fine. You could probably finesse it a little bit better, but this is the right decision of which tribe to play it on, so at least.
And I liked this. I saved this from earlier. I actually very much like how he said, look, they haven't had fire yet. They're 0 for 5 on challenges. I had to play it on somebody. I'm playing it on Hina. They're probably still going to dominate anyway. Like, he even couched it a little bit. There's no good way to say, hey, production is kind of making me do this right now.
You could say those exact words. They'll cut it from the edit. They will cut it from the edit, but say those exact words.
and you know, it's like, well, Jeff gave this to me, and he's making me play it, so I'm playing it on Hina. Best of luck to you guys.
And then throwing out, like, what do you want me to do? I mean, come on, guys. You gotta turn it, like, I know it sucks, but, like, come on, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. So I actually thought he did a pretty good job selling this, like, as much as he could. Like, the whole sell me this pen, like, sell me this tribal disadvantage. I was like, I'm not going to buy it, but I don't hate you.
I think he could have done a better job. So they got to run the challenge with 20 pounds of coconuts on their backs. And at one point, they find a key and to unlock something. Well, they're going to get 10 keys, and they don't know which one's the right one, so it's going to slow them down. Doesn't matter at all. Hina wins this challenge with the disadvantage. God damn.
Woo.
You know, I think it was appropriately weighted as far as like a disadvantage goes. Like, I don't think it was OP. Like, you're not sinking this tribe by just giving them the disadvantage and guarantee that they're going to lose. But I think if they weren't just a bunch of beasts at challenges, this would probably hurt a lot more. They were beating them at basically every point of the challenge, even with these disadvantages. Them being Uli.
Yeah.
Kaylee
pulls way ahead.
Blew up at the end.
Kaylee gets way ahead, and they're at the puzzle way before anyone else. Everyone else catches up. Hina wins. Uli gets second. Sophie B and Alex, disaster on the puzzle. So somebody's going to say, like, we all have different strengths. I think we all have one, different weaknesses, but we all share the same one weakness. Puzzles. Not great.
And Annie's off to the side trying to help and direct, and
she's wrong.
Just not helping.
She doesn't realize that there's pieces that are stuck in place. So, yeah, it's hilarious. Kaylee loses again.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to Cam. Annie's like, okay, we can't get rid of Jake. He was great in the challenge. She single-handedly did the ladder stuff. And Sophie B was terrible in the challenge. All right, well, we'll get rid of her. Fine. Because Annie's the puppet master. Remember, guys? And the others all say, yeah, we're in. But it's like, no, it's Annie. It's clearly Annie. Annie's going home. The only one who's like a little not wanting to do that is Alex, because he's got a secret side alliance with Annie. So Alex and Jake, they're going to go idol hunting. They're going to bring in Sophie B to help, and eventually Jeremiah to help. And they have to get the idol before Tribal Council orders a dead idol. So they have to do this for Alex to get his vote back. So his entire tribe finds out about the idol, besides Annie, and it makes all of them, maybe not Jake, but it makes Sophie B, Jeremiah, and Alex all very paranoid with each other. Sophie B is going to find the box with the idol in it, try and hide it and make sure nobody else finds it, but they're going to end up finding it. Jeremiah's like, I was the last person told on the four of us. Am I fourth? And Alex is like, everybody knows about this idol now. That could make me a target. So basically what happens at this core four, and we're going to get a lot of talk about, maybe we shouldn't take out Annie. Maybe we take out one of the other ones. You know, because of this beware advantage, a lot of trust was blown up. And I think it's going to work out for them. They're going to take out Annie. But I don't know if that was the right move at all, because of all this lack of trust. So I'm going to come back to what I said earlier. Matt Singh rules. Who is Malcolm? Who is Denise? And I think that needs to come into play here, especially with all of this trust blowing up. So I think by taking this beware advantage, Alex puts a target on his back, and he blows up a ton of trust with his alliance. So I think if he just not touched it, they would have been fine. And they're going to end up being fine, kind of. Annie goes home. But again, I don't even know if that was the right move. For Jake, it was. I'm going to let you guys take the floor now. I have more opinions on this, but this is why I'm saying this is a bad move. They drop a bomb on their own alliance.
I don't agree with Ryan much at all, because the way that I see, I guess, trust as a currency and a dynamic between a group of people, if casting an idol or a twist into this mix of four is bringing paranoia to the surface, that's all that it's doing. The paranoia was already there. They weren't solid despite their battle lines. They've already been to Tribal. They already knew that they were a good four. They already knew that Annie was a foregone conclusion for this particular vote. Having a tribe idol is an asset going into a third vote where there have been tribe swaps, where there have been twists thrown into the game, where you have this trust where someone did tell you that they have it. It's like, okay, telling you about the idol makes you not trust me? That doesn't make any sense to me. This group already wasn't going to trust each other. In that case, there's no way that they can get together and vote Alex out. So for Alex specifically to take this beware advantage is great for him, because if he feels scared, he can play the idol and he's safe for another time. Or it's just as likely that they won't target him at all and he'll get to move his game on, hopefully forward, past these people that were never going to trust him anyway. I still think it was the right move for Alex to take it. And the fact that his tribe still has no trust with each other after they find the idol proves the point.
Well, the difference is they have now, we're in episode 2, episode 1 could be a fluke. You could lose the first tribal or first immunity challenge. Well, now you're 0-5, and now you are faced the possibility you're Matt Singh. That changes everything. So that's why they have no trust, is because am I 1 or 2?
Yeah, and wouldn't you rather be the guy with the idol if you're trying to jockey for that position?
Maybe, but if everyone knows about it, and if they're good, bye-bye. Alex could easily get taken out.
No.
Yes.
No, because what he can do is he can burn his idol, because like everyone knows about it, burn it, save yourself, and whoever you want to go home goes next, Jeremiah, or maybe you make it Sophie to make sure that Jake doesn't have any other choice but to go with you. Jeremiah's next. Alex and Jake take the bromance into the merge. It absolutely makes sense for Alex to have this idol.
Alex can make it work. He can. But I think he hurt his game doing it.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
100%.
No. Josh.
100%.
Josh, weigh in.
Yeah, come on. Let's hear what you got to say, Josh.
I'm on Derek's side. Nope. Sorry, Ryan.
Don't apologize to this guy.
You guys are so wrong. It's hilarious.
I'm going to add on, so I'm not repeating, just because I would say a lot of the same things that Derek said, and he put it in better words than I would have. But on top of that, this is now public. Not the fact that you have an idol. The beware advantage is now public. You found this with Jake, and insert anyone there. Like if this was Jeremiah, if this was Sophie, like if you choose not to take this, someone else is going to 100% going to take it, and you can't control whether or not they take it. Is it in their best interest, or is it the right move for them? That's debatable. But for Alex in his shoes, the fact that you found this with someone else, I think makes it so that you would need to take it in this scenario. Again,
let Jake take it.
I still think that this is an outlier. If he found this on his own and no one else was around him, my answer might be different. My answer might be put it back down and just walk away. But if someone is going to have this idol at the end of the day, it might as well be you.
My problem with what you said, because I agree, by the way, if you're Alex, I would say maybe the best thing to do would be to have Jake take it. But that doesn't change my argument, because then you can just take everything I just said about Alex and insert Jake instead. I think the move stays the same. They had a battle-tested 4. Someone in that 4 found the beware advantage. It behooves them to have that and not the 5th person, Annie. So, like, to me, yeah, cool. If Alex finds it, convince Jake to take it. If Jake finds it, convince Alex to take it. If Sophie B finds it, convince Jeremiah to take it, convince Alex to take it. I don't care as long as someone in the majority takes it. And if they end up with the idol, it doesn't matter the paranoia. They are bettering their odds to be one of the 2 in the final Matt Singh situation that you're talking about, considering the weakness of the tribe. There. I cast it to the listeners once again, because Ryan and I clearly are not going to agree on this matter tonight.
This hurt everyone's game, except maybe Jake's. All bad. But yeah, weigh in, listeners. Please help me with these drunk fools. Yes, I will keep slandering you guys until you start giving better opinions. So yeah, Alex finds it, gets his vote back. Alex is going to tell us he's worried about Sophie B and Jake being so close. So he's going to go to Annie and tell her he has the idol, so everybody knows. And implies, like, hey, we can use this to take out Sophie B, and then we'll be set for the future. Alex isn't going to go forward with this plan at all. So, I don't really get this. Is he just trying to make Annie feel safe while he votes her out? Is that all it is? Did something else happen to change his mind? I don't know.
In hindsight, I think this was to keep Annie from playing her shot in the dark, because in theory, you kind of need her vote to make sure that if this idol gets played, that it ends up being Sophie B. You need 2 votes so that there isn't a hinky vote out there that gets cast to make a tie.
That would make sense.
So I think in hindsight, but in the moment I was like, okay, how big of a Looney Tune is Alex going to be here? Because that would be funny. It would be horrible, but it'd be funny.
I thought he was going to way overplay this and actually go with it for a second. I was worried for my own Survivor Pool pick with Sophie. Actually concerned. I think that this was what Derek is saying was shot in the dark insurance. And also remember that it's the pre-merge, so who cares? You know, she's not going to be on the jury, so if you're going to piss her off and, you know, hurt her feelings on the way out, it's not going to hurt you. Your game in the end.
I could buy this, but yeah, I'm just not 100% sure that's what Alex is playing. Alex seems like someone who would overplay.
Yeah.
So I completely buy this as a viable option. I also would buy that he was planning on making this move and something changed his mind along the way. I completely buy both of those possibilities, and I'm not sure which one it is.
This is Schrodinger's Alex's decision.
So we're going to go to Tribal Council, and it's going to be 4 votes for Annie, 1 vote Sophie B. Okay. So again, I want to go back to who are 1 and 2, because that kind of that's where the vote should go based on that. Is it Alex and Jake? Is it Jake and Sophie B? It's one of those 2. So if that's the case, if you're not in the 2, it might behoove you to get number 4 and 5. Let's say Sophie B. Let's say she ends up being 3. Grab Jeremiah and Annie, vote out Alex, for example. So that's where it gets interesting to me. Is what is the true dynamic here? I don't know. The show hasn't fully told us. You can have your opinion. I know Josh thinks it's one way. I'm not sure. And so it's really hard for me to say if this was the right move or not, because I just feel like we're missing a critical piece of information here. But I do think somebody made the wrong move tonight. Might be Jeremiah. I think that's probably the most likely person who made the wrong move tonight. Maybe Jeremiah and Annie should have teamed up and gotten somebody else. I don't know if it's possible, but maybe try and split the bromance. Maybe try and break up Jake and Sophie B. So I'm not 100% sure. Take the floor, guys. Tell me what to think here.
Yeah, I'll do my best, and I'm gonna walk hand in hand with you, Ryan. We've forked in the road a couple times tonight, but we can go ahead and come back together as a grouping here. I think Jeremiah probably played poorly here, but I think it's because he doesn't have a good enough relationship with Annie to go to her and explain, hey, if you're 5, I'm 4. Sophie, you're probably 3 now that Alex has the idol. I think those 3 need to get together and try and vote for Alex right now and blindside him with an idol in his pocket. I think that is something that works short term. You can explain to Jake why it needed to happen, because Alex was going to make Sophie. Like, Sophie would have to go to Jake and say, he's trying to make me 3. The idol definitely makes me 3. It paints you into a corner that you have to go with him. Now that Annie is gone, I think that while Sophie and Jake might be like number 1, number 2 on this tribe, with an idol in his pocket, after talking through with you guys, I think it is Jake and it is Alex. Because why would Jake go with Sophie B when he's got another basically number 1 who has hardware that you can use in a Matt Singh situation? So I'm going to go ahead and say Jeremiah has the most to lose here. And Sophie, you have some wiggle room here, but you lost some rope, I think. I think 3, 4, and 5 had to come together and vote for the guy who got an idol and blindside him. I think that might have been better.
Which is exactly why he shouldn't have taken the war advantage. Because if that's what should have happened, yeah, people screwed up, but...
You have to know who you're playing with.
Yeah.
If everyone out there is a game bot, this is what should happen, but... It's cartoon characters this season, not game bots. No Zing bots out there. Maybe Riz bots, I guess.
Oh,
but
God.
No. So did either of you even say if this was the right move or not?
I think it's the wrong move.
Okay, Derek says the wrong move. I'm looking for input because I'm not sure.
I said it was the right move just because I'm not going to jump all the way to, hey, this is a Matt Singh situation. Is this tribe going to get whittled down? Probably. But I think with just the makeup of, you know, how Survivor works, I think that having 2 final people from an original tribe is less likely than not. So it could get down to 3. Yeah, that's a lot more of a possibility. So when it comes to Alex, Jake, and Sophie, I think they are perfectly fine being in a trio. I don't think it matters who the strongest duo is of that group. Now, that means that this is still the wrong move for someone like Jeremiah, but I don't think Jeremiah really has an option. Jeremiah's best move is to have it not be him this time and then try to pit the three against each other in some way next time. Whereas the three, it's their best interest to just go for it, see how far you can take this thing. Hopefully, you don't have to get down to two. Hopefully, there's a swap or you actually improve after Annie and Jeremiah are off the tribe. So I think that that is what needs to happen here. Anything else is going to make it so that you have nothing left. If you start turning against each other and imploding just because there's an idol or because you want to be the last two remaining on this tribe, you're not going to have really anything to work with in the post-merge.
I think, Josh, you have convinced me to go with Derek because I think, you say, they shouldn't have to worry, they're fine as a trio. That works until there's episode 4 and now you're going from 3 to 2. I think I'm going to land with Derek that maybe go after Alex might have been the most optimal move and try and get him and that idol out of the game.
And I'll say one more piece on this because we're talking about Matt Singh, right?
Yep.
I want to be very clear, and I would hope that the people on this tribe would understand nobody here is a Matt Singh. Like, we don't have anyone here with Denise capabilities. We don't have anyone here with Malcolm capabilities. Those are two S-tier Survivor players. And if you can't recognize yourself as a non-S-tier Survivor player, you're going to have a problem. To me, this tribe is more Oolong than it is Matt Singh, and you need to figure out how to get down to being the one. Not the two, the one. Ideally Matt Singh, but I think if they look at their DNA, they can't do it. And that means you have to race to the lowest common denominator, which is if I'm on the bottom, I need to find a way to be on the top and keep whittling it down.
This feels more like a Lulu from 45 than an Oolong.
Sure,
but I get what
enough.
you're saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think we could get into Emily Flippin and a Caleb Grebelwold, I think is his last name.
Grindelwald, not Grindelwald.
Grindelwald.
Yeah, Grindelwald.
But yeah, I agree with you that I don't think there's a Denise or a Malcolm on this tribe, but that's the mentality all of them should have at this point. And I'm okay if this tribe implodes as long as I'm one of the two, because that's a thing that happens sometimes.
As long as you're one of the two, but that only works when you are certain that you're one of the two, and nobody, unless you're Jake, right. No one is certain that they're with the two. So that is, I think that is right. The core part of why I answered the way that I did.
Well, they need to figure out who the two are. That's the main thing.
Play the odds, increase your chance by being the final three, and then maybe there's a game script in this season where there's a tribe swap or anything else. Or maybe you just actually get better once it's just the three of you.
Maybe Sophie B should make her number 2 Jeremiah and completely flush Jake and Alex down the toilet. I don't know. But all of that is important to keep in mind, but I'm going to ultimately agree with Derek that I think this was the wrong move. They should have tried to take out Alex.
Gosh, I really feel like Ryan right now.
Okay, let's get into best and worst player of the episode. I had one coming in, by the way, and I've changed it. One of you guys convinced me. It might have been both of you. So my best player, I originally gave it to Sophie S, but I've changed my mind. I had no strong opinion coming in. I'm going to go with Nate, just because he got into a majority alliance, and I think he had the most difficult road to get in that alliance because he's got to bond with these younger people, and he did it. So I'm going to give Nate my best player of the episode. It's not like a strong episode, but it's a good episode.
I had Nate. He was the first name I wrote down. He's the only one that came to mind. I mean, you look at that losing tribe, Blue. I can't even remember their name right now. Kaylee? Absolutely not. Nobody here played well in what happened, in my opinion. Nate is in the majority. He assimilated well. His gameplay tonight was pretty fire. Not very fire. It's pretty fire.
Good vibes.
He caught good vibes. He's not a divisive guy, and I feel like, Savannah might be someone who can draw some heat on behalf of that alliance, and that will lend itself greatly down the road. So I had Nate.
And I also had Nate. I'd like to think that it was my comment that got Ryan to make his decision. Who knows? But yeah, I had Nate all the way.
Sure, I'll give you credit. Let's get into worst player. Derek, who do you got?
It's Jeremiah for knowing that he's fourth and doing it anyway. And let's say that it was impossible for him to work with Annie because of his relationship with her up to that point. Well, congratulations. Here's the dividends that have been paid for what you weren't able to do. Whatever we talk about, I know Ryan's saying, we need to figure out who the two are. Do you want to know who is not one of the two? Jeremiah. Because you need Sophie to dump her number 1 for you willingly just because Alex has an idol. That is Jeremiah's last hope outside of a tribe swap. And even then, you're going into a situation where you're working with people who do not know you. So to me, the biggest and most obvious loser of Annie going home, ironically, considering how badly he wanted to send her home, was Jeremiah.
See, now this was the hard one for me. I didn't have anyone written down just because I couldn't decide. Because everyone was, well, this wasn't good, but with the right context, it could be good. You could spin Alex's actions into being a good thing. You could spin Jeremiah's actions into being a good thing. You could spin MC's actions. She was another person that I thought was just like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have enough information about how that tribe works in order to say whether or not that was a good move or a bad move. Same thing with Jawan, how he decided against taking the steal a vote versus tribe disadvantage. So this was a really tough one for me. I'll go with Jeremiah. I just do not have enough information. I don't think that Jeremiah actually played poorly, like very poorly, but at least we have more information about what that tribe looks like. I don't think he could have done anything to change this. If anything, he could have just made it worse for him in the next episode. And I think that he still has a pretty clear out of getting the three to go against each other, but I'll take the information and still go with Jeremiah.
I think you guys make good points about Jeremiah. I'm going to go with Alex, though, for taking the Beware advantage. He has a public idol, and he was terrible in the immunity challenge. He does have the idol at least, so that's a good thing, but he also lost an ally in Annie. Yeah, it's a weird one. Just honorable mention to Jeremiah for sure, but I'm going to go with Alex.
Yeah, from your perspective, I was expecting you to pick Alex tonight, and I'm not offended by it. That whole tribe is a mess. Like, even if I'm okay, remember, I said it was okay for him to take the Beware advantage, not that it was good for him to do so. It's a weird situation, man. So I get it.
All right, let's get into who is going next. Josh, take us over to the Hina tribe. We haven't seen them go to tribal council yet. What's going to happen when they do?
I don't know. I said MC last week. I almost switched it over, but I'm going to keep it at MC here. Sometimes when you're in the middle like that, it can just get flipped on you.
I thought about it. I don't feel strongly, but I'm going to go with my gut and just say Matt. I think he's not very good at this game so far, and I think it's going to blow up in his face.
I said Christina last week. I'm not moving off Christina until I have more information. I don't believe any of these alliance talks until we actually have stakes. And Hina has had 0 stakes, no yummy steaks so far.
Maybe some fish, though. I'll take us over to Kaylee. I'm Jeremiah. I just think he's going to be the odd man out.
Jeremiah.
I also have Jeremiah.
All right, and finally, Derek, take us over to Uli. Who's going next?
Again, without more information, I'm just going to say who am I getting tired of the most quickly? To me, it's Sage. I understand they talked about Juwan. I would not be surprised for it to be Juwan, but he performed in the challenge. And I'm not saying that Sage didn't, but if you're just looking aesthetically at who has strength early on, I think that they might keep him. So
I think Sage set out. So
we wouldn't even know. So I'm going with Sage just because I feel like that'd be hard to live with long term. No shade, Sage. I know you're a big fan of the podcast, but I'm gonna go with Sage.
I said Sage last week. I'm staying with Sage.
I don't remember what I said last week. I said Savannah.
You probably said Savannah.
Yeah. So she had a decent episode. I still think it's gonna blow up in her face at some point. So I'm gonna move off. I'm gonna move to Juwan. I think they like Sage enough. And they also mention her as maybe Savannah and Sage getting into it in next time on Survivor. So I think that means she's not going home. So I'm going to go with Juwan. All right. Let's get into who can't win this game. I don't know about you guys, but I did a classic Ryan move and I changed mine.
What?
Yep.
Shocker.
I did too.
Okay. There we go.
I didn't.
Okay. Josh, who can't win?
So last week I said MC purely based off of edit. Didn't have any information, and I think I'm going to use the exact same reasoning this week. And I'm going to use the same reasoning, but I'm just going to flip it over to Christina. MC, if she makes it through and doesn't get the vote flipped on her, she could end up, if she makes a good decision based off of what she feels is right for her social bonds, she could be in a good spot. Whereas Christina, haven't heard from her. Nothing's going on since being afraid of everything in the first episode, so I'm going with her.
I'm going with Sage. I switched from Savannah to Sage just because, I know people like her. She's kind of weird. It could get annoying, and I just don't see her pulling enough to get respect from the jury at the end. I don't think there's anybody who's truly disliked at this point. I just don't think Sage will get that respect.
So I'm glad I get to go last here because my who can't win did not change. It's Sage, but Derek does another thing that's the equivalent of who can't win, and it is the classic stick a fork in them. And I'm going to take a big swing this season because podcasts are for big swings. And I have to say, for a few people here, I've seen enough. The first fork is Sage. I agree with Ryan. I think if she makes it to the end, it'll be hard for her to explain why she deserves it. I am excited for Sage to prove me wrong and win this season. On to the rest of the forks. Jake, Sophie B, Jeremiah, and Alex. Wow. The entire Kaylee tribe. Everybody left on that tribe, I think, is missing a key ingredient that they need in order to win the game. And I think there are players on Uli and what is
Hina.
Hina on Uli and Hina who have the ingredients to win the game, be it as a group, be it as a dynamic, be it as an individual. I am sticking forks in the entire Kaylee tribe. They had such a lead going into that puzzle, and they blew the puzzle. They're 0 for 5. They're a mess. They're paranoid when they have a group idol and battle lines drawn. Sophie is trying to hide the box because she wants to steal the cannonball key. Jeremiah, he's a mess because he's voting out people that he needs to keep. Jake is way too trusting, loyal, and happy, and he's stealing shoes.
Jeremiah's such a Taurus.
Jeremiah will not be the first male Taurus winner of Survivor. And you know what? I am excited for all 4 of these players to prove me wrong and one of them to come back and win. But we're taking big swings, and I am axing the entire Kaylee tribe tonight.
That's hilarious.
All Kaylee final 3. Let's go.
Please, I can only hope. That would be hilarious.
Jake, Alex, Sophie final 3.
Oh, I would love that, especially if Sophie wins.
Big fans of the podcast. Let me know how angry at me, viscerally angry you are at me for this.
I don't know if people get angry at you, but I can't believe you just forked my winner pick.
In episode 2.
In episode 2. Like, shit, a bad episode, but dang.
I've seen enough.
That's hilarious.
She can't remember Jeff's question on day 3.
That's really funny. All right, last thing we got to do, we got to check in with the Survivor pool. Josh, what's going on, man?
Yeah, so the Survivor pool. First of all, thank you. Thank you, everyone who submitted. We had people submit on social media. We had people submit on Spotify. We had probably double the amount of new people from all previous seasons. So thank you very much. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to cover as far as people who are new to the graveyard. And, I'm going to do this in a specific order for a specific reason. First of all 3 of these people all 4 of these people picked Annie this week. We had Jer the Bear, we had Kyrius, and we had Cursed. I think I pronounced your names right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Thank you all for playing. Kyrius and Cursed, they were first-time players, so thank you for playing, and goodbye. You had a good run of one episode, again. But hey, it was your record. It was your record long.
Play again, please.
Yes, play again, please. See you next season. And then finally, last but not least, we lost the winner of our Survivor pool from season 48, Drew. Drew went down after one episode. Oh, the mighty have fallen. It's a long way from the top, but you are now at the bottom. We've all been there. We've all been there, and it's okay. We're excited for you to play again. So thank you, Drew, for playing. But you did not two-peat. You weren't even close. And no one can be as good as Derek. It's fine. Four-peating.
Josh, we want Drew to come back and play next season. Goddamn.
This savagery.
Brutal.
This is why I do the Survivor pool, so I can crap on people who miss their pick. And this is coming from me, who I think I've lost in the first 1 or 2 each of the last couple seasons.
Well, Josh, we didn't have any hate on these comments. He might now.
Yeah, Josh is no longer my best friend. Now Derek and Ryan are my best friends.
Drew, thanks for playing. Sorry it didn't go your way this time. Play again next season.
The only reason I say it that way is because you won.
Just remember. I mean, when I went out, I had Nika, and then was it Helen? I think the next season.
I think so.
Oh boy,
Josh is just salty.
Yes, I am very salty, and it was very close to beating me this week, so it's fine.
All right. Well, now that we know who's in the graveyard, Josh, who's your pick? Where you at?
Yeah, so to recap last week, Ryan picked Christina, Derek picked Jeremiah, and I picked Sophie B. This week, oh man, do I want to go risky and just eat my words after dishing out all that I just said to our listeners? Maybe I put myself in a risky position. I'm gonna go MC here. I know that I said that she's the most likely person to go home from that tribe this week, but I'm gonna bet that they don't go to tribal, so I'm going MC.
I'm going to go with Hubicki's Law and the person who is mentioned in the Next Time on Survivor as a possible target. 90% of the time they're safe. So Sage.
Ryan, I just want you to verify who I had here.
Yep.
I also went with MC. So Ryan has a chance to at least win among the consultants this week if MC does go home. So some yummy steaks here early in the season. I can't believe that Josh and I are both doubling up on a person who does not have hardware. I thought I was being clever with this pick, but apparently not too clever by half. It's okay.
Will it be my redemption? I hope so. MC, we don't know much about you. I'm heavily rooting against you. I'm sorry. It's not personal.
It's nothing personal.
It's nothing you did. It's everything Josh and Derek have done. All right, so that's where we're at. We'll see what happens next week. You wanted to read a review, Derek.
Yep, and this is kind of taking the place for our social media. Obviously, go out there, give your Survivor Pool pick if you're still alive, and leave comments about what you would have done if you were in Juwan's situation, and any other thoughts or feelings you have about this cast or season so far. If you want to roast Ryan or Josh, please do that whenever you want, and most of all me. But we did have a new 5-star review on Apple Podcasts this week, so thank you so much for that. It says, Best Survivor Podcast, one of the better podcasts I've listened to. I've listened to recaps alongside binge watching the show for the first time, and the podcast has played a big role in shaping my understanding of the game and maintaining and growing my interest in the show. The podcast is so extensive and well formatted, and the host's opinions are interesting 90% of the time and correct 60% of the time. 5 stars for you, but if I really loved you, I'd have given you the necklace. Chef's kiss. Thank you so much for that review. And 99 MBG. Appreciate the love and looking forward to continuing the journey with you as we move forward.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I think we can wrap it up here for the night. Anything else, guys?
Nope, that's it.
All right, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
Good night.